Hello, my name is Sam. I also go by Ruby T, and I used to make Nuzlocke videos on the YouTube. Unfortunately, my computer went down and I haven't made one in a while and I've been really busy with life. But I decided that needs to change and it was time to make a new Nuzlocke video for everybody. Now, my favourites, and it seems to be everyone else's favourite by the views, have been old generation challenge type runs. So I figured that was a pretty good place to start. Without any further ado, let me introduce you to what I have decided to call the Brocklock. Now, what is a Brocklock, I hear you ask? Let me explain to you. The Brocklock will encompass all the regular hardcore Nuzlocke rules that we all hold so dear. If you don't know what those are, you can go back and watch any of my previous videos, but essentially, you can only catch one of each Pokemon, one Pokemon per area, although that doesn't really apply here, and if a Pokemon faints, it's dead. They're pretty common, you can find them anywhere. The difference is, in this run, we're only going to be using the Pokemon that Brock has used in the anime. Make sense? Pretty simple. That's not too many Pokemon, here's what they are. The Zubat line, Onix, Geodude, and Vulpix. Now, I may let myself evolve the Vulpix because Brock has used Ninetales before, and the only other Pokemon that we get with Brock is Chansey. Chansey will play a pretty key role if I'm ever going to complete this Nuzlocke. I say this because, even though I haven't started yet, I'm pretty sure there are going to be some key choke points along the way. For example, if I don't catch Zubat before we take on Misty, I think that's going to be an auto loss because it will mean I only have Onix and Geodude. Equally, if I'm not able to catch Chansey, I don't think there's any way I can beat Lorelei. So be prepared, this is going to be a long number of attempts and I may need to make things easier if things are just too difficult as we go along. Alright, all of that stuff out of the way, let's jump into it. Don't forget to join the Discord and subscribe to the channel and ask your friends and your siblings and your mum and your nan, whoever you want, to subscribe to my channel and leave me loads of likes and comments and stuff because it's really, really nice. And yeah. Anyway, on with the show. We name our character Brock, and to start the adventure, we follow this strange old man into his house, even though we've never really met him before. I take a look at the starters to try and work out which is the most befitting of Brock, and in the end I settled on the fact that it would probably be this Onix. I named the Onix Big Damage, and we took on our rival and we won. The start of the game was pretty similar to most other games, other than that I really wasn't taking very much damage from any of the wild Pokemon. But yeah, after we trained up on a few of these guys, we ended up getting our way to Viridian City, where, as per always, we get our hands firmly round Oak's package. Anyway, after we get Oak's package, we take it to Oak, and he talks to us about some stuff. Now, you may be thinking, oh, this is the start of the game, so easy, just got Onix, no one can kill you, nah. And in a way, you're kind of right. However, you would not believe how annoying Viridian Forest is with all the poisonings and stuff. It's so difficult when you've only got the one Pokemon, and Onix just does so little damage. It's not a test of skill, of how good you are or how amazing you are, it's a test of patience. Here, let me show you. Eventually, I managed to get Big Damage to level 14 and it was time for the first gym battle of this run. Brock sends out his Geodude and Brock sends out his Onix. Now, my Brock, this Brock, me, basically I go for a bind and then I just kind of tackle to save Rock Slide PP or Rock Throw PP, whatever the hell it is, as much as I can. And then it's an Onix v Onix, who can miss the most binds off. And it's a pretty even matchup, I won't lie, but we nail enough screeches eventually to start actually doing some damage to Brock's Onix, and he doesn't really go for any kind of sensible moves. And we managed to take him out in a pretty simple gym battle, and it's on to Mount Moon. First things first, we need to get our encounter. Now you may notice there's no attempt counter on the screen at the moment, and that's for a good reason. The amount of times I caught Geodude here and had to immediately reset, it just got too boring to keep updating it. I believe this one you're watching is around about 65 or 66, but I can't be certain. Anyway, we caught Zubat, named them Arpats, and it was time to move on our way. At the time of recording, I have not seen The Batman. It is not out in cinemas just about yet, so if it sucks, then I apologise for calling Zubat Arpats. We take on our rival, and he asks us to go and see a strange man in a strange cabin in the middle of nowhere, which we do because it's safe. And luckily, he invites us to a party with lots of other strange people, which we will attend. Then it's time to take on Misty. This is the place my run ended the most. Even with Zubat, this battle was almost impossible. You have to have an incredible amount of luck to get away with it. So you have to start by confusing the Staryu and then just going for as much damage as possible. So in this run, it's not actually ideal because what you really want is this potion to get used on the Staryu. Otherwise, this becomes really difficult. So, in all honesty, I thought I was done at this point. I managed to land the next Supersonic, which is pretty good. And then I have to hope for crits and damage, and that's pretty much all I can do. Starmie hits herself in confusion, and I land a bite. So, we're in an okay spot here. Now, I go for another bite. Starmie hits herself in confusion again, but as you can see, we end up in potion range, which is so frustrating because this would have been the easiest way to get rid of Starmie. But it just keeps hitting itself in confusion. And one more time, and it hits itself in confusion. And it's amazing. Like, there are times where I've had better Zubats and I've managed to do a bit more damage and it's a little bit easier. But hey, what can I say? We got past Misty, pretty happy. Arpats evolves at this point into Golbat, which makes everything so much easier. You would not believe how annoying it is having Onix and only a Zubat to deal damage in any situation. Anyway, we take on the Rocket with a combination of Onix and Golbat, and then we move on to the trainers on the way to Viridian City, and we absolutely destroy this city Butterfree and get lots of nice experience, which is fantastic. However, have to be a little bit careful not to overlevel. We take on our rival once more on the SS Am, but at this stage he's posing us no problem. So we come and rub this nice man's back, and then accidentally take a little look in the trash can, which, well, yuck, shouldn't have looked. Why is that even in the game? Anyway, it's on to Lieutenant Surge. We're taking on Lieutenant Surge, and for once, well, this one's just not going to be any bother whatsoever. We catch a Diglett to use Cut, but if there was any danger of ever needing any other Pokemon for a battle, it wasn't this one. So Onix comes in, goes for a couple of digs. A little bit annoying that Onix doesn't learn any good, like, ground moves at all. Like, it doesn't learn any good moves at all. From this point on, I'm pretty sure the only moves that Onix ever uses, like, none that it learns. None. Absolutely zero. Like, I have to teach it Rock Slide, and I have to get the Earthquake TM later on, and it's, oh my god, Onix is so bad. I really like Onix. I think it's so cool, but it sucks so bad. Just, come on. Game Freak, let Onix be good. Anyway, we finish up Lieutenant Surge because he absolutely sucks. And we move on to Rock Tunnel after fighting our way through the trainers there. That means it's time to get our third encounter of the run, this Geodude, which we managed to do with a combination of Arpats and Onix once again. Now, we catch the Geodude and we name him Popeye, and we carry on making our way through Rock Tunnel. I'm not going to lie to you, Rock Tunnel particularly sucked, because the only way we had any damage on anything was with Geodude's Earthquake, and I really didn't want to overlevel it. We reach the other end and we catch our fourth encounter of the run, this Vulpix, a really nice little Firefox that we named Browser. Once that's done, it's finally time to kick on and make some decent progress through the game. The early game is so slow in a Brocklock, you would not believe it. Give it a try yourself and find out. It's pretty easy to make, like, you're literally just adding an Onix to the start of the game. That is it. So you can do it yourselves. Have a go. And let me know how you get on. So, we make it to Celadon City, and after a lot of grinding, Browser levels up to 29 and learns Flamethrower. I use all of my money to buy a charcoal, and it's time for us to take on Erika after a Flamethrower-based massacre throughout the rest of the gym. Some poor editing by me, which I've decided to leave in, means that this isn't a smooth and seamless transition like it should be, but, you know, that's one of my videos. That's what you should be expecting by now. Flamethrower nails the victory bell, and we get hit by a stun spore, which kind of sucks. But I figure we're not really in any danger of taking any damage, so I'm just going to keep on going. We take out the victory bell with a Flamethrower, and next up in comes Tangela. Tangela has a worse special defense than I do, and so it goes down to a Flamethrower as well, which means we level up to level 30, and things are looking pretty fresh for us right now. Vileplume comes in, hits us with an Acid, which just isn't doing too much. Flamethrower does almost everything on the Vileplume. We get hit with another acid and that's it, we're done. Browser nails the gym all by itself. And breathe. Remember, if you want me to kind of change how I do this commentary over the top, you can let me know. At the moment, as usual, I have not written a script. I'm just going for it as the turns play out, trying to remember what I did. I know people kind of like this style from me, so I keep going with it. But if you'd rather I write some sort of script, let me know. I'd love to maybe try that one day. We take out this rocket with Raticate. Onyx actually proving useful whenever there's a normal type physical attacker, which is surprisingly not that much of a niche thing in this game. We use an escape rope to get our way out of here, and then it's time to take on these rockets. So this was a weirdly challenging portion of the game because of the combination of poisoning and accuracy lowering. What I found throughout this whole run is that there were just weird parts of the game that were challenging, and it's never where I expected. Like, a lot of the boss battles weren't too dreadful, but like nearly losing Pokemon here to paralysis were things that kind of almost ended the run. For that reason, I have used rare candies in this because it just became far too much effort to keep leveling up Pokemon over and over again. Anyway, Onyx comes in for Don Giovanni, goes for a bind. We go for a magnitude, hit a magnitude 7. Huge damage from Popeye, doesn't even kill this Onyx, but you know, Onyx has pretty big defense, so we knew that. Onyx goes down, and next up is this Kangaskhan. So I switch into Arpats to take what I assume is going to be a fake out, but it wasn't a fake out, it was just a tail whip. So I decide to actually switch back out into this Onyx. Onyx takes the Mega Punch and then fires back with a Screech. Kangaskhan tail whips, and I'm not really sure what its moveset is at this point. I didn't look it up. I was worried it had low kick, which is why I kept switching every time I had my defense lowered. But since it decided to go for Mega Punch, I figured there's a pretty good chance it doesn't have low kick. I go for a magnitude 8, and even after a Screech, it doesn't really come that close to knocking out the Kangaskhan. Mega Punch does not KO us, and we're able to fire back with a magnitude and take out Don Giovanni's Kangaskhan. Next up is this Rhyhorn. We go back into big damage to the Onyx, and we tank a Fury attack to everyone's surprise, and we're able to fire back once again with a Screech to try and lower the defense of this Rhyhorn. Stomp does nothing, and we're able to go for a nice dig. And at this level, there's no Earthquake coming out from the Rhyhorn, I hope. So we're pretty safe to just we keep going for dig. And in the end, we manage to take out the Rhyhorn, and we are able to progress the story and head over to the haunted tower thing place, which I always forget what it's called. Lavender? Is it just called Lavender Tower? Nah, you think I'd know. We once again take on our rival, and once again, he's really not too much bother. Onyx now outspeeds his Pidgeotto, and so we get a Rock Slide flinch and then finish off with a second Rock Slide. Browser takes out the Growlithe, and yeah, it's pretty much plain sailing. Then we murder this ghost and leave another Cubone without a mother, because, to be honest, I just don't care. Sorry, Cubone, but I just do not care. It takes a while, but we get there in the end. And then we rescue a very, very, very ungrateful man who, after we beat up some rockets, we take him down to his house and he shows us his nice flute, which we learn to play later on. I'm very grateful to the nice man. We use the man's flute to awaken this slumbering giant, who we then beat up and send back to the hills. In a then grateful end to my suffering, Arpats evolves into Crobat. Oh my god, it's so nice to have a Pokemon on the team that it's actually good. And now we enter the realm of pain. Now, this is a Nuzlocke, so technically, by the rule set, we only get one attempt to catch this Chansey. However, without catching Chansey, I can't win the game. And I just want to point out to you, the reason this is all sped up, this is on 10 times speed up, right? In fact, it may even be on more speed up, and the game itself was already sped up, and it still took me almost an hour of real life time to find a Chansey, okay? Like 1 hour on, I think I was playing on 4 times speed up, plus this 10 times speed up that the video is on right now. Like, that is how long it took me to find one Chansey. Now I'll let this play out, because I'm going to show you what happens when I find one Chansey. Because if you think that what I'm about to tell you invalidates this run, then you can definitely get I mean, you know, it's pretty much like a good practice to insult anyone who's kind enough to watch these videos anyway, right? Yeah. Anyway, I find a Chansey. Here it is, and it's and then for not the first and certainly not the last time I stopped Geodude from evolving. God, I wish I had a Everstone, but there we go. Anyway, we make it into Silph Co to go and take on our rival again. Now, this is the first time that he's really going to challenge us for quite a long time, and you'll begin to see the value of Chansey and why we cannot do this run without it. We lead off with big damage, nail a rock slide or two into the Pidgeot, and it goes down with no real issues. We get some experience points, and it goes into Blastoise. Now, this is where resentment is absolutely key. Like, there's no way that we can possibly do this without it. We hit a water gun, or rather Blastoise hits a water gun, it doesn't do too much damage, and we start going for minimizes. Now, this is a pretty shady way of going about things. I do know that, but honest to God, this whole challenge wouldn't be possible without it. It just wouldn't, and I put so much time and effort into this thing that there's no way I was going to ever end this without giving it a proper go. So after several minimizes and a couple of soft boils, we're ready to start trying to deal some huge in a very, very common turn of events in this whole run, none of my Pokemon do any damage to anything. Resentment keeps plugging away, going for the Psychics. We keep getting hit with rapid spins, and our paper thin defense takes them just about until eventually we get a blessing in the form of a special defense drop in the Blastoise. We use Soft Boil, back at full health, go for another Psychic. Then Protect comes in. I'm now running out of Psychics. Things are getting pretty bad, but we are able to bring it down to red health. I go for an Egg Bomb, it still doesn't kill. Blastoise goes for a Protect again. I left in this whole battle just to give you an idea of how painful it is to use Chansey. It is so painful. Like, it's so good, it's brilliant, and I think, you know, you guys can decide, but I'm thinking about banning it from future runs because it's just so broken. Unless it's obviously runs like this, which have a specific theme. So anyway, Growlithe comes out, we hit a Confuse Ray, it hits us with a Takedown. And then I decided it's probably a good idea to switch out and I go into Popeye. Growlithe is confused, it hits itself in confusion, and we're able to nail it with a nice big Earthquake, because unlike Onix, Geodude has a decent level up learn set. Why couldn't Brock have a Golem in the anime? It would have made everything so much easier. I just could have never had to use stupid Onix. Anyway, Execute comes out, we go into Browser, we get hit with a Poison Powder, which isn't great. In hindsight, I have no idea why I did this. I really didn't need to risk Browser here, I could have just gone into Crobat, but you know, you live and learn, right? Browser takes it down with a decent Flamethrower, and then we're now in a position again where none of my Pokemon are able to deal with this stupid Alakazam. However, if this is entertaining for you, if you're enjoying this particular part of the run, oh boy, you're going to love the next gym. Anyway, I sped this up because, like, you know, you already watched one bloody Chansey thing with the Blastoise and it took ages and it wasn't very fun. So, yeah, you know what we're going to do. We're going to minimize, we're going to minimize, we're going to minimize, we're going to minimize, I sound like an auctioneer. Minimize. It looks like Chansey's going to be the winner here, but minimize and minimize. Oh, it's confident, it's going once, going twice. And it looks to be switching to Arpats, and his Arpats going to do it, Arpats going to do it. It takes the future side, but the future side doesn't hit this turn, so we go for the Erika, and the Erika takes out the Alakazam. And there we go. Hope you enjoyed that. That was slightly breathless. It's time to take on Giovanni, and once again, as is the theme with these Pokemon games, these battles get a little bit harder each time we go along. I lead off with Popeye, hit an Earthquake, and Nidorino goes down. Next up is Nidoqueen. I know that this thing is going to have a ground move or like double kick or something, so I switch out. It goes for a Poison Sting, funnily enough, so the Arpat switch was a pretty good one. Aircutter does some damage. Nidoqueen hits back with a pretty strong body slam. I'm just fishing for crits here. Aircutter's pretty good, but I feel like the crit rate is actually just about 0 because I didn't get too many. I get one here, and there's another important one to come later on. Rhyhorn hits with a Scary Face, which realistically it probably doesn't need to do because we're slow as balls anyway. We go for an Earthquake. It doesn't quite KO, but it puts Rhyhorn in pretty good range to pick it up with another one, or anything else for that matter. And the Rhyhorn goes down. That leaves one Pokemon left of Giovanni's, which is this Kangaskhan. I'm not sure if it's going to know like Low Kick or something, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't because it's not going for it, right? And I think it always goes for a super effective move that sees it. Mega Punch does not do enough, and we're able to pick up the Kangaskhan. With Popeye, and Giovanni is done. That means we've got 4 badges, we've done all of the other little bits and bobs we need to do at this stage. I go and get a Master Ball that I don't need, and then I go to a gym puzzle. If you're a long-term viewer of this channel, you will know I do not like gym puzzles, and this is no exception. I really thought I knew my way around this one. Pretty simple gym puzzle. What I have not included in this recording is that it actually took me 3 attempts to get through this gym. I'm not proud of it, but here we are. Time to take on Sabrina. Once again, I'm really sorry guys, but it's going to be a Chansey sweep. Or is it? Arpats comes in with a Shadow Ball and nails Kadabra. Then out comes Mr. Mime. Arpats comes in with a Shadow Ball and nails Mr. Mime. Things are looking up. Then in comes the Venomoth. I go for an air cutter because this thing's got pants attacks, like special attacks, so it's not going to do any damage. Only it crits, which is really, really bad. Sabrina is not playing by the same Nuzlocke rules that we are, and so does go for a potion. We land a Shadow Ball, followed by an air cutter, and we take out the Venomoth, which means that she's left only with her Alakazam. There is zero chance that I can take a Psychic attack from the Alakazam. However, it doesn't matter because I've got Shadow Ball and I kill the Alakazam in one go. I don't even need to use Chansey. Ha 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 ha! Game. I don't need Chansey for everything, despite what everyone keeps saying. Anyway, Koga. Lead off with Browser. Charcoal boosted Flamethrower deals with the coughing really, really, really nicely. Next comes the Muck. I really decided that it was a good idea to get some damage on the Muck in case minimized BS comes in. So I burn it, and then I go into Arpats so I can't get poisoned. It goes for a minimize here. And starts to take some burn damage. We land an air cutter, which is awesome at this stage because any damage we can get on this Muck is brilliant. I don't think the Koga has full restores yet. I'm pretty sure it's only like potions and stuff. So I go into Popeye and go for an Earthquake. Koga goes for a Hyper Potion. We land the Earthquake first try, so it doesn't matter. All we've done is made sure that Koga burns one of his potions, which is super, super nice. I do not go for an Earthquake here because it's not going to help. However, I did consider it until I remembered that Coughings have Levitate. We get a Rock Blast off and Coughing lands a Sludge, which of course poisons us, but I'm pretty sure we're in good shape. I goes for a Self-Destruct because I miss a Rock Blast, but however, Popeye's defense is so good that it doesn't matter. Out comes this Wheezing. I go straight into big damage just to try and tank any physical attacks it's going to throw at me and try and lower its attack stat with Screech. Screech is literally the most important move that Onyx learns in the whole run. It is the only reason it is at all valuable, pretty much, other than like for some tanky defense stuff, but whatever. I decide that at minus 4 defense, this Wheezing is pretty much damaged enough, and with several lowered accuracies on us, I didn't want to keep messing around with it. Wheezing continues to spam Smokescreen because Koga's a bit of a dick, to be honest. So we do continue to miss moves. Eventually we land an air cutter. It does not crit, in surprise to nobody. But we land a second one. Wheezing is down, and there's badge number 6, which is really, really awesome. So, I'm not going to lie to you, it was rare for me to make it this far during the challenge attempts, and I only made it to this stage a couple of times. However, this was one of the times where things were going pretty well, so after we went and got the key, it was time to take on Blaine. I lost here to Blaine once by misusing the Chansey, and I decided that this was not going to be one of those times. I take the Intimidate with the Growlithe, and then I switch in to Onyx. Now, Onyx's really bad special defense means you can take some damage here, but luckily this particular Onyx had just enough attack to be able to deal with the Growlithe, thankfully. Next in is the Arcanine, so I go into Blissey to take the fire attack, and then I get burned, which is really, really bad. It's one of the only ways I can lose if I do this right. But I continue with the plan, which is essentially use a mixture of Blissey and Vulpix to take enough of the fire attacks that I can survive. So I do that. I keep switching to take the takedowns with Onyx and count my way to 5 Fire Blasts using Blissey and Vulpix. This was actually a misplay because if I get crit with that Fire Blast, I'm done for. However, luckily I don't get crit. I'm able to get back into the Onyx, I take the takedown, and then there's only one more Fire Blast for me to deal with. However, you will all remember that I am not always very clever. So I kind of like kept double checking a lot during this challenge, including at this stage. And I switched into Browser, but luckily we were able to dodge a takedown when really that was a misplay because Arcanine was definitely out of fire attacks. So yeah, we were okay. Anyway, I switched into Popeye, takes a couple of takedowns, and we're able to nail Arcanine with an Earthquake because unlike Onyx, Geodude learned some pretty helpful level up moves like Earthquake. Thanks Geodude. Next in comes Ponyta. It decides that it's not going to use any of its fire type moves, which would do a lot more damage to me considering my trash special defense. But Rapidash and Ponyta do the same thing and they're just not too bothered, and a couple of Earthquakes take them out, mostly thanks to the huge level disparity between his Arcanine and the other Pokemon. So yeah, pretty nice battle all round. I'm skipping the Sevi Island because it's so boring. And we're going straight into the battle with Giovanni. Giovanni leads Rhyhorn. I taught Resentment Water Pulse, and we take it out with one clean shot. Next up comes the Nidoqueen. Now, I know we can take one attack from this thing. I'm not sure how many more. We do take one. We would have taken it as a crit as well, which is really good to know. But now we are certainly in crit range. So I switch into our pats to take the Earthquake, which we do because we're completely immune. And we finish it off with a Bite. Next up comes Rhyhorn again. Now, this is a pretty tough situation to be in because obviously our Pats doesn't want to take any big attacks from Rhyhorn. I don't know if it has any rock moves. So I go into Popeye, who tanks an Earthquake. Jeez, it does so much damage, but luckily he's able to fire back with an Earthquake of his own and take out the Rhyhorn. So there's 2 Pokemon left to go. I'm pretty sure that our Pats can deal with this Nidoking. It'll take a little while, but I feel confident that he'll be okay. I go for an Air Cutter, which does decent damage, and the Thrash is just not doing anything. Man, Crobat is so good. Crobat is so good in this run. It's literally the best Pokemon on Brock's team. I know the Blissey looks like it does a lot, but gee whiz, Crobat was so good throughout this whole challenge. We land a couple of bites after Giovanni heals, and that's it. That's all 8 badges, and we can make our way to the Pokemon League. I think it's worth mentioning at this stage, I only made it this far 3 times. This challenge was a real long grind. It was so difficult, but yeah. Anyway, before the Pokemon League, we have to take on our rival one more time. I figure that considering we're going to have to face him eventually anyway, I'll skip this bit for you so I save the fun for the final battle, if we do indeed get there. So, we push some boulders around and we run around and I get lost in the Indigo Plateau and we're finally at the Pokemon League. It's time to do it. I bring in some rare candy so we can be at the level of the ace for each trainer and we have a go at this. Now, Lorelei, as I said at the start, is literally impossible without Blissey. And sometimes impossible with Blissey. I go for a whole bunch of Calm Minds to set the Blissey up so that I can try and tank the majority of attacks that Lorelei uses. She uses Water and Ice type Pokemon, which of course are all special attackers in this game. Along with Psychic Pokemon, which is also a special attacking option. So I set up 6 Calm Minds. I nearly tried for a 7th, which interestingly is how I lost one of these runs in the past, because I went for a 7th Calm Mind and then I got crit, which was really bad. But anyway, a Shockwave takes out the Dugong, and after our Soft Boil, we're up at near full health. Next up is Cloyster, who has pretty trash special defense anyway, so I'm pretty sure I could take this out just by thinking about Shockwave. But anyway, we land the Shockwave, Cloyster goes down, and we're 2 up. Next up comes the Slowbro, which thankfully is also pelted by the hail. Because believe it or not, the Shockwave at +6 doesn't always KO the Slowbro. Blissey is so good, but my word, it's got trash stats other than the special defense and HP. As you can see by me not killing this Lapras, and this paralysis is really bad. I go for the Soft Boil, which is a huge risk. We somehow managed to just about cling on and not get full powered. If we got full powered there, the run's over. But honest to God, there's nothing else I can do. I need to try and land a shot on this Lapras, and we do get one, and we take it out. If Blissey goes down, I quite simply can't beat the Lapras. So that was the only play that I had. It was all I could do. And this time we managed to get through it. I lost here once before. It's really tough. Browser comes in, takes an Ice Punch, and I was kind of all ready for her to go down because there's just not much else I can do. But thankfully we land the Flamethrower, Jinx is down, and we're moving on to this guy. He thinks he's like Brock but better, but really he's just a silly boy. Arpats goes for a Giga Drain. Bye-bye, Onyx. Your Onyx is trash and my Onyx is good. Screw you, Bruno. Next up comes Hitmonchan. Air Cutter does not kill. Thankfully, we dodge a Rock Tomb here, so I'm able to go for a second Air Cutter and take out the Hitmonchan, no problem. Next up is Machamp. This thing is scary as balls. I'm not even joking, it's so terrifying. We get hit with a Scary Face after a couple of Air Cutters. The Citrus Berry heals it up. The only good news is we can like play for the crit here, right? Because even though Machamp is boosted with bulk ups, if we get a crit, we'll be able to take it out like in pretty much like 1 or 2 shots. And also, it's just not doing much damage to us. We do get the crit, and Machamp goes down. Next up is Hitmonlee. I'm just going to keep on rolling with these Air Cutters, especially into the Hitmonlee because it does not have very good defense. I know Bruno's going to go for a full restore here, so I use the chance to get off the Giga Drain and get some health back. I then have a real kind of dilemma as to what I need to do. I tank a Mega Kick with the Geodude because I'm pretty sure it's always going to go for Mega Kick here, and then switch Arpats back into the fighting move so that I have my speed boost back. Air Cutter takes out the Hitmonlee, and then I know after a Giga Drain there's zero chance that this Onyx can take out Arpats. As it is, we take it out in one shot anyway, and Bruno is done. Thank you very much. Next up, we take on this lovely old lady with her lovely ghost Pokemon. I lead Arpats again, and I start Shadow Balling stuff. I was really hoping that was going to KO, but it did not. It was not a one-shot. Agatha uses a full restore, and Shadow Ball starts missing. We missed twice after only one double team. Thankfully, we then do manage to land another Shadow Ball, but this is looking like a real problem. It's now got 3 double teams up. We miss another one, but thankfully we do land. We do land a Shadow Ball to take out the first Gengar. Haunter goes down to a Shadow Ball as well. And next up is Gengar number 2, which is like level 58 and scary as heck. Hypnosis lands, Arpat goes Sleepy Buys, Gengar goes for a Shadow Ball, Arpat's still asleep, Gengar goes for another Shadow Ball, but I know if I can just wake up once, I can kill this thing, and oh no, we survive on 1 HP! Unbelievable! Unbelievable, like literally, it's absolutely ridiculous. In hindsight, I don't know why I didn't switch out to Blissey. I was playing like absolute garbage, like absolute trash. Rock Slide doesn't even do half to this Golbat. We then flinch to a bite, so we're going to have to switch out again. I decide to go to Blissey. We tank 1 bite. I know I've got Psychic to be able to use, which I thankfully am able to break through Confusion and use and take out the Golbat. There's only 1 Pokemon left, which is this Arbok, which, whilst it's kind of annoying, is not like a huge, humongous, big threat. Or so I think, until I get slammed with an Iron Tail after a Screech. And, oh my god, this was so fast and loose. Jesus. But we get through this one too. Now we're on to Lance the Dragon Tamer. This is the other place that I lost my Elite Four run before. I had no strategy the last time I did this door. I just went into it completely winging it. This time my strategy was to try and poison the Gyarados. Yeah, I mean, we got there in the end, thankfully. The poison can chip away the Gyarados. Well, I switch into this Onyx and take some Dragon Rages. I just basically needed him to burn his potion. However, I killed the Gyarados. I didn't think I was going to kill it. I didn't think I'd do enough damage at all. And this is like really bad news. I go for a flinch with the Rock Slide. I don't get it. Outrage takes out my my Onyx. Rest in peace, Onyx. Thanks for giving it your best. But I go into Arpats. I go for an Air Cutter. Get the crit, and I take out the Dragonair after the Screech. Next up is Aerodactyl. Aerodactyl cannot do anything to Geodude, I don't think. So I send Geodude in here. He tanks an Ancient Power, there's no Omni Boost, and we get off a Rock Blast, which does 3. Thankfully here, Lance does use his full restore. The reason I lost last time is because I couldn't take out one of the Dragonairs, and he used his full restore on that, and it was able to just absolutely sink me. So yeah, we managed to burn that. Here I know that Geodude's in trouble to an Outrage, but I just don't have a choice. I have to let it go down. I send in Browser, and it all comes down, this whole run comes down to whether I can nail a Will-O-Wisp. And I do manage to on the second attempt, thank goodness for that. We get the Will-O-Wisp off, Browser gets paralysed, but now it's okay because we're not going to be taking the big damage from the Dragonair, thankfully. As such, I take my time and I have a good think about what I'm going to do next. I send in Blissey, who manages to really deal nicely with an Outrage. Only I forgot about Dragonair's stupid shed skin. I cannot tell you how badly I played this whole Elite Four run. It was so bad. But we managed to take out the Dragonair, and with only the Dragonite left, all I have to do is survive one big hit from it, and it doesn't go for an attack. And we managed to make it through to the champion somehow. Somehow we got there. Unfortunately, due to my losses against Lance, my only real play here, I think, is to try and set up the Blissey once again. Browser lands a Will-O-Wisp into the Pidgeot, so I feel confident that I can bring in my Blissey and set up. This time, I'm trying to be as switched on as I possibly can. Aerial still does a pretty big chunk, but we're able to tank a couple of them and get our first Calm Mind off. Soft Boil keeps us healthy and topped up, thanks to the ethers that I've managed to find along the way in my journey. Feather Dance lowers our attack, but that is absolutely a-okay for me. We keep plugging away, going for our Calm Minds here. I know, unfortunately, we're now getting into the zone where he's going to heal the Pidgeot, but I'm able to get one more Calm Mind off, and then I can go for a Soft Boiled while Champion Ash goes for his heal. So we're both at full health, only I'm at big boosted stats now. I'm at +4. However, with the Pidgeot potentially going for a Whirlwind, I go for an attack, and it was the damn right decision, because otherwise we were getting Whirlwinded out of there, and we were going to lose. Anyway, Alakazam goes to Zap and Reflect. I go for another Calm Mind. We tank the Psychic really well, and I fire off a real strong Ice Beam, which is definitely going to KO, right? Yes, it is. It goes down. Thank goodness for that. Next up comes Executor. We're able to nail that thing with another Ice Beam. See you later. That's 3 down. Rhydon comes in. Can we nail that with an Ice Beam? Oh, yes, we can. Oh, yes, we can. Next up is Arcanine. Can we nail that with an Ice Beam? No, we cannot, but we can go for a Psychic. Psychic does not enough, and we get roared out. And this is bad. I really, really thought that Psychic was going to KO. And he goes for his second full restore, and we're just not doing enough damage. Not enough damage at all. I just need to break through this Arcanine. If I can break through the Arcanine, then I can deal with the Blastoise. Arpatch showing how damn good he is once again by tanking that Flamethrower as a 3-shot. It's so, so good. Unfortunately, Browser has to go down here so that Arpatch can come back in once again. It takes an extreme speed really, really well. And I know I can take another one, and I do take another one. Air Cutter comes out, and I know what's coming now. With no more potions left. What? Another one, a third one, I swear he only used 2, this is so unfair. Extreme Speed comes out once again. Arpatch clings on because it's so good. And now it all comes down to whether or not Resentment can take out this Arcanine, whether or not it can deal with the Arcanine and then the Blastoise. Psychic gets a special defense drop, which is so, so clutch. Arcanine goes for a bite. We land the Psychic. Arcanine is down. It is Blissey versus Blastoise. Who will win? Hydro Pump misses. We go for a Calm Mind. And Hydro Pump lands, but now we've got the Calm Mind up, and with Blissey's monstrous special defense, we've managed to seal up this one. Psychic number 1, he sets up the rain, doesn't matter. Psychic number 2 crits, and we are the champion. We managed to win one of these stupid challenges, and this one, I'm not going to lie, I really, really enjoyed this. This was so much fun. It was literally the most fun. So, thank you very, very much for watching, and now you've got a choice. We're nearly finished with the Shining Pearl Nuzlocke on Twitch now. So, well, I say nearly finished for me, which is we haven't given up after like 2 gyms. So you can decide what you want to see next on the YouTube channel and what you want to see on Twitch. I want to do another one of these fun runs, maybe like a Team Rocket themed one or a Misty themed one. You guys can let me know what sort of stuff you enjoy with that. But I also want to go back to playing some of the more difficult challenges. I really want to have maybe a go at Storm Silver because I've never played that before. Or equally, it looks like Black 2 and White 2, the Drayana hacks have come back out. So let me know what you think about those as well, or if you have anything specific you want me to try. And yeah, I put a lot more effort into this video than like some of my others, so I'd really love it if you would share it around and like it and comment on it and all that good stuff, you know. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, yeah, lots of love to you all. Have great days. Goodbye.